Pick up, please, pick up, pick up, pick up. Where are you? I know you're there, we were just texting. Hey, did you see the news?
Yeah, I'm freaking out.
Me too. Okay, can you come over? I need a drink. Welcome to another episode of The Daily Drip.
Woo! The Daily Drip! Woo! I'm so excited. I love our new setup.
I know, look at that couch.
I feel like we're one of those, those influencer couples.
Oh God, yeah. I can't wait for our breakup vlog, I
Stop.
guess. On this episode, we're doing a breakdown of the American Jobs Plan,
Also known as the infrastructure bill.
also known as a $2 trillion investment in the U.S. economy, which the White House keeps calling historic.
Yeah, they do keep saying that.
Where's that coming from?
I don't know, everything's historic these days.
Yeah, but is that not just time passing?
Okay,
Like,
yes, but in their defense, this is actually kind of historic. It's apparently the largest government investment in American jobs since World War II.
oh, no way.
Shout out the New Deal. Not the green one, the old one. The old New Deal.
There's a lot in this bill. Like a lot. It took me a minute to read. But it covers things like Medicaid's caregiving program, electric cars, and broadband internet. But we're going to focus on one topic that is a favorite of ours here at the Daily Drip.
It's water.
It's water!
It's water. It's because you can't live without it.
You really can't. And this bill ensures the rights for all Americans to have access to clean, safe drinking water.
What do you think they mean the right?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of rights in America that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get them. But, you know.
Yeah. When we're talking about infrastructure, specifically as it pertains to water, we're talking about the 2.2 million miles of pipes that carry water from places like reservoirs and rivers all the way to your morning shower.
Ooh, what's your go-to shower song?
Natural Woman.
Can't confirm.
Overall, America's infrastructure system has a C- rating, and the grades for the water-specific categories are just as bleak.
C-.
Yeah.
Reminds me of that grade you got in the psychology class we took together.
Do you mean the grade that we both got?
No, I got a C+ actually. Thank you very much. No, but a C is definitely tough. And it's earned. There's a water main break in America every 2 minutes. And 6 billion gallons of water are lost each day.
That's actually enough to fill 9,000 swimming pools.
Just lost to the void.
It's lost to the ground, but, it's still wasteful.
Yeah. The American Jobs Plan would invest $111 billion into improving America's water infrastructure. About half of that money would go to states, tribes, territories, and disadvantaged communities to update their water utilities.
$10 billion would be invested specifically in rural infrastructure and increased monitoring of toxic forever chemicals. They're called PFAS, if you're following along at home.
And the last $45 billion would be used to replace 100% of the lead lines in America.
Now, this last point is especially important because lead lines are notoriously corrosive and they end up leaking lead into the drinking water supply.
It's actually been illegal to install new lead lines in America since the 1980s, but much of our infrastructure is much older than that, like way older.
Hence the need for an upgrade. It reminds me of that Beyonce song. Let me upgrade you what about the day? Yeah. Well, according to the CDC, there's actually no safe level of lead exposure in children, and yet there are 6 to 10 million homes in this country being serviced by lead lines.
And 400,000 schools. Exposure to lead can cause damage to the brain and nervous system, slow growth and development, and increase your risk of things like ADHD, kidney damage, anemia, the list goes on.
So replacing these pipes could actually be huge.
Yeah, all in all, this plan sounds like a dream.
We did it, John. We did it.
Yeah, but I don't know, I have my doubts.
Oh, what? No.
I haven't been feeling that positive about the American government since maybe ever? But certainly in the last year. And there's a lot of language in the American Jobs Plan that I don't like, particularly the anti-China rhetoric. In the opening paragraphs of the bill, it literally says the 2 greatest challenges to our country right now are climate change, which, yeah, and the ambitions of an autocratic China, which is just imperialist. And when you think about the rise in attacks against Asian Americans, it feels irresponsible and frankly dangerous for Biden to be so anti-China in his language.
Yeah, I agree. But I guess I also personally have reservations about climate policy coming from an empire like the United States. I mean, obviously, I support climate legislation. I think everyone listening to this episode probably does, right?
Yeah, and if you don't, we're here to convince you.
No, I mean, those of you who don't should probably leave. In all seriousness, I think that, I support action on climate change. But I think it's also important to consider the role that America has played in destroying our natural resources, in starting war and executing occupation, to further its interest in fossil fuels and in oil. I mean, In some ways, this bill feels like just a band-aid to slap on the gaping wound that the American empire has left on the climate and also on the world.
But the most annoying part about this bill to me is that it might not even get passed. Republicans are mad about it, and even some Democrats are saying it's too progressive, so...
Biden took almost $1 million in donations from PACs associated with the fossil fuel industry during the campaign, and then, big shocker, he was a vocal opponent of the Green New Deal.
Yeah, it's hypocritical to say the least.
Yeah.
And of course, overall, this bill is a step in the right direction, because without investment, we can't solve issues like the water crisis or our dependence on fossil fuels. But we also can't save the planet with one bill, and there has to be a mindset shift that leads us to global, collaborative, and structural change, rather than just focusing on profit or playing politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tune in next week for when President Biden inevitably cancels this show.
Yeah, it's a matter of time, but at least it'll be historic. The Daily Drip is powered by Aquagenuity. Want to stay in the loop on environmental news? Visit our Medium page to check out weekly articles, resources, and more. Thanks for watching.